we're all very concerned about the security and the safety of our judiciary, not only because of you individually, but because of the impact it would have on our system and the disincentive for people to serve in the roles that are so critically important to our society. Let me go to the staffing. You said similar, the pay levels are similar to the Capitol Police, and that they obviously work together and interface together. Is your budget now sufficient so that you will not have contract employees, outside contractors protecting your homes?
Not at this point. The goal is to be able to staff so that we can entirely absorb residential security within our office, and I'm sure our staff can provide more details about the timeline for that, but at this time it is not.
Will the budget that is projected for fiscal year 27 allow you to do that? Do you know?
I think still not, but we will be getting closer.
Good.
And certainly our goal, and we want it to be as a short-term goal as we possibly can, is to get to the point where we're not reliant on any outside contractors.
I think it's critically important to have people who really know you, your habits, your to and froing. Someone
You are speaking to the choir there.
Well, as someone who had a security detail for 20 years in my previous positions, I found it critically important that they got to know me and my habits and the habits of my family and made them much more proficient in protecting. So we want to make sure that that's the case. Let me go to, and I'm not asking you about the substance of decisions, but I am asking you, there has been a substantial increase in what I guess we call shadow decisions. Is that a budget-related or policy-related phenomenon?
Well, let's see. I think that litigants have long had the ability to seek interim relief from the court, but I think you're certainly right, Ranking Member Hoyer, that we have seen a big change in the volume and the nature of such requests. The court is doing its best to adapt and respond. I think it's a policy question, not so much a budget one. I don't know if you have additional thoughts.
I'm sure there will be additional questions.
Does that impact on the transparency which you referred to, not putting up fences so that people had access? There are concerns, obviously, that these shadow dispositions impact adversely on the knowledge of the public has about how the courts makes its decisions and who is making what decisions. Do you comment on that?
Ranking Member Hoyer, you know, there are definitely issues with respect to we call it the emergency docket. Some of us call it the interim docket. It's a terminology nightmare. I call it the emergency docket. And there are definitely questions about how it's appropriate to use that docket, when it's appropriate to use that docket, the standards to be applied, the way those standards actually work out in individual cases. And you see that in some of our decisions because we are, in many, if not most of these cases, not unanimous. There will be a majority and a dissent. The reason I think it's probably not appropriate, at least not now, to call it the shadow docket is because we have done, I think, a better job in the recent past of where appropriate, and it's not always appropriate, but where appropriate, explaining ourselves, at least to a moderate degree. So I think if you had asked me this question a year ago, I might have said that there were some cases, and in fact I did say, I had said in some public events that there were some cases where we did so little explanation of what lay behind our order that lower courts had a great deal of difficulty trying to figure out what that order was. Were we saying something about the merits of the case? Were we saying something about who had standing to contest the merits? Were we saying something about appropriate remedies? Nobody knew. I don't think that that's so much a problem anymore. I think that as we've gotten more experienced in these constant requests that are coming to us about requests for emergency relief, that we better recognize that at least sometimes there is a need for additional information. And we have issued opinions and sometimes majority and dissenting opinions accordingly.
Thank you very much.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.